Have you ever felt like your prayers are just hitting the ceiling? Or maybe you've been told to be quiet, to be patient, to not ask for too much. Well, today we're going to flip that idea on its head. We're diving into several powerful, almost shocking concepts from the Bible. Shameless audacity. Let it sink in for a moment. Again, shameless audacity. Now let's attempt to process it and see if we understand what it really means. Perhaps the first word in the title sent the wrong thought. Well, not at all. Which is why I'm so glad to have you all back to my channel, where we all share a space to fellowship together and learn from the scriptures. First, let's take a moment to acknowledge our sponsors.
I'm glad to be part of the powerful Bible verse family. It is my daily reset. Even on days I'm too busy to read, its biblical teachings reconnect us with God and keep our faith growing.
Let's continue to endorse and embrace the powerful Bible verse and the message it brings.
Shameless audacity. This is a very powerful phrase that embodies both grit and vision. And today's 10 powerful Bible verses will help us expound and break it down into something spiritually impactful. Because we need shameless audacity, the kind that refuses to ask for permission to exist, to build, to dream. The kind that dares to create where others doubted, to speak truth when silence was safer. And today, we're going to discover how to repurpose that same boldness, not just in our prayer life, but in our daily walk of faith and loyal relationship with God. Jesus himself tells stories that encourage a kind of holy boldness, a persistent response. Quote, I am not taking no for an answer. It's not about being rude or arrogant. It's about understanding who God is and who you are in him. It's about having a faith so convinced of God's goodness that you're willing to be a little bit audacious to see his power at work. So let's explore 10 Bible verses that will empower you to live with this kind of bold, unapologetic faith. Let's start with a foundational verse, Hebrews 4:16. It says, "Let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence, so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need." Notice that word, confidence. The original Greek word here implies more than just being sure of yourself. It suggests freedom of speech, boldness, and courage. We're invited to come right up to the throne of God, not cowering in fear, but with the confidence of a beloved child who knows they will be welcomed. This isn't audacity born of pride, but audacity born of grace. You're not approaching based on your own perfection, but on his perfect love and the finished work of Jesus. This verse gives us permission to be bold. Next up, Luke 11:09-10. Jesus says, "So I say to you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks the door will be opened." This isn't a one-time timid request. Ask, seek, knock, these are continuous actions. Jesus is painting a picture of persistence. Think about knocking on a door. You don't just tap it once and walk away. If it's important, you knock again, maybe a little louder. You keep knocking until you get an answer. Jesus is encouraging this kind of shameless persistence in our prayer life. He's not annoyed by it. He invites it. This leads us right into our third point, the parable that precedes that verse. In Luke 11:5-8, Jesus tells a story about a man who goes to his friend's house at midnight asking for bread. The friend inside says, "Don't bother me. The door is already locked and my children and I are in bed. I can't get up and give you anything." But Jesus says, "I tell you, even though he will not get up and give you the bread because of friendship, yet because of your shameless audacity, he will surely get up and give you as much as you need." The key phrase is shameless audacity. It's a bold, persistent, almost impudent faith that says, "I know you have what I need, and I'm not leaving until I get it." God is not like the grumpy friend, but he honors the faith that is that persistent. Our fourth verse is Mark 11:24. "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." This takes audacity to a new level. It's the audacity to believe before you see. It's stepping out in faith, thanking God for the answer, even when your circumstances haven't changed yet. This isn't a magic formula. It's about aligning your heart so completely with God's will and His promises that you can stand in faith, convinced of the outcome because you are convinced of His character. It's a bold declaration of trust in His goodness and power. Let's move to the story of the Canaanite woman in Matthew 15 verse 22 to 28. This woman, a Gentile, comes to Jesus begging for her daughter's healing. But Jesus was silent at first. Then, He gives her a response that seems harsh, comparing her to a dog. But she doesn't get offended and walk away. Instead, she responds with incredible humble audacity. And she said, "Yes, Lord, yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." Her faith was so big and her need so great that she was willing to be shameless. And Jesus' response, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." So when we view the interaction between the woman and Jesus, the observation depicts her audacity wasn't seen as disrespectful. It was commended as great faith. Our 6th verse takes us to the early church. In Acts 4:29, after being threatened for preaching the gospel, the disciples did not pray for safety. Instead, their prayer was, "Now, Lord, consider their threats and enable your servants to speak your word with great boldness." Reflection. This verse captures the heart of holy provocation. The early believers weren't asking for safety. They were asking for strength. They didn't pray for God to silence the opposition. They prayed for boldness to keep speaking His truth in the face of it. When God's voice provokes, it doesn't make you timid, it ignites courage. It stirs something inside that says, "I will not back down. I will not stay silent. I will speak what God has spoken." That's the same spirit that turned ordinary fishermen into fearless apostles, not because they were powerful, but because they'd heard a voice that moved them beyond fear. They asked for more audacity. They understood that the mission was more important than their comfort. In our lives, this kind of prayer looks like asking God, "Give me the courage to share my faith at work," or "Give me the boldness to stand up for what's right, even if I'm standing alone." It's repurposing audacity for the sake of the kingdom. Let's get active on Ephesians 3:12. Speaking of our relationship with God through Jesus, Paul writes, "In whom we have boldness and access with confidence through our faith in Him." There are those words again, boldness and confidence. Our access to God isn't timid or restricted. Through Jesus we have a VIP pass. We can walk right into the presence of the King with confidence, knowing we belong there. We don't have to be shy about our needs, our dreams, or our worship. We have been granted bold access. Let's start living like it. Our 8th point is the parable of the persistent widow in Luke 18 verse 1 to 8. Jesus tells a story about a widow who keeps bothering an unjust judge for justice. The judge, who neither feared God nor cared what people thought, eventually gives in simply because she won't stop bothering him. Jesus then says, "And will not God bring about justice for His chosen ones, who cry out to Him day and night? Will He keep putting them off?" The point is clear. If an unjust judge will respond to shameless persistence, how much more will our loving, just Heavenly Father respond to the cries of His children? This parable is a direct command to pray and not give up. For our 9th verse, let's consider 1 John 5:14 to 15. This is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And if we know that He hears us whatever we ask, we know that we have what we asked of Him. The audacity here is rooted in knowing God's will. When our prayers align with His word and His character, we can have absolute confidence. This encourages us to dive into the Scriptures, to understand God's heart. Our boldness isn't a blind demand. It's a confident request based on the solid foundation of His revealed will. The more you know His promises, the more audacious your prayers can become. Finally, our 10th verse is Joshua 1-9. "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. This is a command to be bold. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. And why can we be courageous? Because of the promise, the Lord your God will be with you. This is the ultimate source of our shameless audacity. We can be bold in our prayers, bold in our faith, and bold in our actions because we are not alone. The Creator of the universe is with us, for us, and in us. So what does this look like in your real, everyday life? It means you don't give up on praying for that family member. It means you step out and start that ministry or business you feel called to. It means you share your testimony even when your voice is shaking. It means approaching God, not with a long list of reasons why you're unworthy, but with the simple, bold confidence of a child who knows they are loved. This week, I challenge you to pick one of these verses. Write it down, put it where you'll see it every day, and ask God to help you live it out. Ask Him for a dose of shameless audacity, rooted in His grace and for His glory. Thank you so much for watching. If this message resonated with you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs a little encouragement to be bold in their faith. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. God bless you, and go live with shameless audacity.
Let me know in the comment section below which verse struck you the most. And please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button.